Have you ever wondered why so many Japanese people seem effortlessly clean, calm, and elegant even when they're wearing the simplest clothes? It isn't because everyone is rich. It isn't because they're naturally more fashionable. And it definitely isn't because they're buying luxury brands every week. In fact, some of the most powerful habits behind Japan's polished appearance cost little or nothing at all. Today, we're uncovering the hidden Japanese habits that quietly make people look cleaner, calmer, and more refined than most of the world. These aren't beauty hacks or expensive fashion secrets. They're small daily habits, cultural values, and simple routines that anyone can learn. Some of these habits may completely change the way you think about style, confidence, and even self-respect. So before you spend another dollar trying to look more elegant, stay until the end, because habit number 11 is the one that changes how people perceive you before you even say your first word. Let's begin. 1. Cleanliness is an identity, not a chore. One of the biggest reasons Japanese people often look so fresh and put together has very little to do with fashion. It begins with something much simpler: cleanliness. In many parts of the world, people clean because visitors are coming over. They vacuum the living room, wipe the tables, and hide the clutter 5 minutes before the doorbell rings. In Japan, the mindset is often completely different. People clean because they are coming home. Their home isn't just a place to sleep, it's a place to recharge. Keeping it clean is considered a form of self-respect and consideration for everyone who lives there. A tidy environment makes daily life calmer, less stressful, and surprisingly easier. And here's something interesting. When you live in a clean environment every day, that habit naturally follows you outside. Clean surroundings often encourage cleaner clothes, better organization, and a more polished appearance. So no, looking elegant doesn't always begin with a wardrobe. Sometimes it begins with making your bed. But if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear what many Japanese people do before they even step inside their own homes. 2. Shoes never enter the living space. One of Japan's most well-known traditions is removing shoes at the entrance, an area called the Genkan. At first, it might seem like a small custom, but it has a huge impact on daily life. Think about where your shoes have been today. Sidewalks, parking lots, public transportation, dusty roads, and maybe places you'd rather not think about. Now imagine carrying all of that onto your living room floor. Japanese households avoid that completely. Shoes stay at the entrance, while clean indoor slippers or socks are worn inside. Floors remain cleaner, homes stay fresher, and people spend less time dealing with dirt. And let's be honest, your socks should never come home looking like they've just returned from an archaeological excavation. It's a simple habit, but it quietly changes the entire atmosphere of a home. 3. Clothes are simple but always intentional. Many people assume looking stylish as expensive designer brands. Japan proves otherwise. Walk through cities like Tokyo or Kyoto, and you'll notice something interesting. Many people wear plain colors, simple jackets, clean sneakers, and timeless pieces without giant logos shouting for attention. The secret isn't having more clothes, it's choosing clothes that fit well, match easily, and stay in good condition. Instead of chasing every trend, many Japanese people build wardrobes around versatile basics they can wear in countless combinations. A simple white shirt, well-fitted trousers, and clean shoes often create a stronger impression than the loudest luxury outfit. The goal isn't to impress strangers, it's to look neat, balanced, and comfortable every single day. And that raises another question. How do even affordable Japanese clothes somehow manage to look surprisingly expensive? The answer has almost nothing to do with the price tag. 4. Fabric care is almost a religion. Here's a secret many people overlook. Elegant clothing isn't always new clothing, it's well cared for clothing. Japanese households often pay close attention to the little details that many people ignore. Wrinkles are ironed out, lint is removed before leaving the house. Loose buttons are sewn back on instead of waiting until they fall off. Clothes are folded or hung carefully to keep their shape. These tiny habits can make an ordinary shirt look remarkably refined. As the joke goes, The shirt isn't old, it's just emotionally supported. The point is simple. People notice care, even if they don't consciously realize it. 5. They groom before they dress. Finally, before choosing an outfit, many Japanese people focus on themselves first. Hair is neat, nails are clean, skin is cared for, breath is fresh, eyebrows are tidy, fragrance is subtle rather than overwhelming. Looking healthy is often considered far more attractive than looking flashy. A perfectly chosen outfit can never fully compensate for neglected grooming, but simple, consistent self-care can elevate even the most basic clothes. And this leads to something even more surprising. Most people believe elegance begins inside a shopping mall. Japan quietly disagrees. The next habits happen long before anyone opens a wardrobe, and they're the reason true confidence can't be bought. 6. They respect public spaces. One of the first things many visitors notice in Japan isn't just how clean people look, it's how clean everything around them looks. Streets are often remarkably tidy. Parks are well cared for. Train stations handle millions of passengers every day, yet they often remain impressively organized. This doesn't happen by magic. It's the result of millions of small choices made every single day. People generally avoid littering, clean up after themselves, and treat shared spaces as if they were an extension of their own homes. The idea is simple. If everyone takes responsibility, everyone benefits. That respect quietly becomes visible. When you care for your surroundings, you're more likely to care for your appearance too. A clean environment encourages clean habits, and those habits eventually become part of your identity. 7. Less noise, more presence. Here's something that surprises many visitors. In Japan, confidence is rarely the loudest voice in the room. People often speak calmly, listen carefully, and avoid interrupting others. Conversations tend to feel balanced rather than competitive. Even body language is usually controlled and respectful. The result? A quiet confidence that naturally draws attention. After all, the loudest person in the room rarely looks like the most confident. Real presence doesn't come from speaking over everyone else. It comes from making people feel comfortable enough to listen when you do speak. Sometimes the strongest statement is simply knowing when silence says enough. 8. Their homes train their minds. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to relax in a messy room? Your eyes keep finding distractions. Your brain feels busy before the day has even started. Many Japanese homes are intentionally organized, not because perfection is expected, but because order creates peace. Everything has a place. When something is used, it's returned to where it belongs. Clutter doesn't get the chance to become permanent. This saves time, reduces stress, and creates a calmer daily routine. And something interesting happens. People who consistently care for their environment often begin caring for themselves with the same consistency. Neater homes can encourage neater routines, cleaner clothes, and a more polished appearance, not because anyone is trying to impress others, but because organization becomes a natural way of living. 9. The Japanese bathing ritual. For many people, taking a shower is simply another task to finish before bed. In Japan, bathing is often treated as something more meaningful. It's an opportunity to wash away not only the day's dirt, but also its stress. A warm bath becomes a moment to slow down, breathe deeply, and mentally reset before tomorrow begins. By the time the evening routine is finished, people don't just feel cleaner, they feel refreshed. That feeling carries into the next morning, creating a quiet confidence that's difficult to fake. Looking clean often starts with genuinely feeling clean. 10. Seasonal living makes everything feel fresh. One beautiful aspect of Japanese culture is the way it embraces the changing seasons. As the weather changes, many people naturally adjust their clothing, home decorations, daily routines, and even the foods they enjoy. Nothing feels stuck. Spring invites lighter colors and fresh beginnings. Summer encourages simplicity and comfort. Autumn brings warmth and richer textures. Winter focuses on coziness and calm. Instead of wearing the same styles all year, each season becomes a chance to refresh both your surroundings and your mindset. It's a gentle reminder that elegance isn't about constantly buying new things. Sometimes it's simply about knowing when it's time for a fresh start. And speaking of fresh starts, the next habit may be the most powerful lesson of them all because it has nothing to do with fashion, money, or appearance, yet it's the reason Japanese elegance leaves such a lasting impression. 11. Consistency beats luxury. Here it is, the habit you've been waiting for. If there's one lesson Japan teaches better than almost anywhere else, it's this: looking elegant isn't about having expensive days, it's about having consistent ones. Many people believe elegance comes from buying a luxury outfit for a special occasion. But think about it. A designer jacket worn over wrinkled clothes, paired with worn-out shoes and rushed habits, doesn't create lasting elegance. Meanwhile, someone wearing simple, affordable clothing that is clean, well-fitted, and carefully maintained often leaves a much stronger impression. The expensive outfit loses. The disciplined habit wins. That's because people don't just notice what you wear, they notice how consistently you take care of yourself. Every small habit, repeated day after day, quietly shapes the way others see you. True elegance isn't built in one shopping trip. It's built in ordinary moments that are repeated with care. 12. Confidence comes from self-respect. Have you ever met someone who wasn't wearing anything flashy, yet somehow filled the room with quiet confidence? That kind of confidence usually isn't an accident. It often comes from preparation, preparing your clothes the night before, keeping your shoes clean, taking care of your health, being on time, respecting yourself enough to pay attention to the little things. Preparation creates calm because you're not rushing, searching, or worrying at the last minute. And calm creates elegance. When you feel prepared, your posture changes. Your movements become more relaxed. Your smile feels natural. You don't need to prove anything because your habits have already done the talking. Confidence isn't something you wear, it's something you practice. 13. The invisible details everyone notices. Here's something fascinating about first impressions. People rarely remember every detail they saw, but they remember how you made them feel. That's why the smallest details often have the biggest impact. Clean shoes, a well-kept bag, a tidy phone case, a wallet that's cared for instead of falling apart, fresh breath, a subtle fragrance that stays close instead of announcing your arrival from across the room. Individually, these details seem almost insignificant. Together, they quietly communicate care, responsibility, and self-respect. Most people won't consciously say, "What a clean phone case," but they'll walk away thinking, "That person looked incredibly put together." Sometimes elegance lives in the details no one talks about. 14. Japanese fashion follows harmony, not attention. One reason Japanese fashion feels so timeless is that it rarely tries too hard. Instead of chasing attention, it often focuses on harmony. Colors work together rather than compete. Clothes fit comfortably without being overwhelming. Accessories complement the outfit instead of fighting for attention. The overall look feels balanced, calm, and effortless. It's almost the opposite of dressing to be the loudest person in the room. As the saying could go, some wardrobes scream, Japanese wardrobes whisper, and somehow, they're still the ones everyone remembers. Because true style isn't about demanding attention. It's about making people feel comfortable every time they see you. 15. The secret that costs absolutely nothing. After everything we've explored, you might expect the final secret to be another fashion tip. It's not. The most elegant habit in Japan costs absolutely nothing. Kindness, patience, humility, respect for others, and a genuine smile. These qualities never go out of style, never wear out, and never need replacing. Beautiful clothes may catch someone's eye for a moment, but character stays in their memory long after they've forgotten what you were wearing. In the end, elegance isn't measured by the labels in your wardrobe or the price of your shoes. It's reflected in the way you treat people, carry yourself, and live each day. Because the most unforgettable thing wear isn't luxury, it's character. Before we end, imagine two people walking into the same room. The first is dressed from head to toe in expensive designer brands. Every logo is visible, every accessory is meant to stand out. and every detail seems carefully chosen to impress. The second person wears simple clothes, no flashy labels, no luxury logos. Just clean, well-fitted pieces that have been thoughtfully cared for. They walk in with quiet confidence, a calm smile, and genuine respect for the people around them. Hours later, ask yourself this: which person do you think people are more likely to remember? Japan offers a powerful lesson that the world often forgets. Elegance isn't something you can buy in a luxury store. It grows through the small choices you make every day, the way you care for your home, your clothes, your body, your words, and the people you meet. Those quiet habits shape the impression you leave long after you've walked away, because true style doesn't begin in your closet. It begins with your habits. If you enjoyed discovering Japan's hidden elegance, you'll love the next video: 15 Japanese home habits that make every house feel peaceful and expensive. Once you discover those simple yet powerful habits, you'll never look at your home the same way again. Until next time, stay kind, stay intentional, and keep choosing elegance one habit at a time.